Greetings dear viewers, this is George from Ireland, and in this video I'm going to be talking about expatriate life in Bucharest. You presumably know that that is the capital of Romania. If you've chosen to watch this video, you must be aware of that. So it's a city of over 2 million people, and its origins go back to the Middle Ages, derives its name from Bucaria, as in joy. It does have some architecturally alluring areas, particularly in the centre. In the 19th century, it called itself Micul Paris, as in Little Paris. So there's some faux Parisian chateau, often not in a good state of repair. There's some vernacular Romanian architecture, difficult to describe, but it'll have a staircase up to an outside door and a little tower built into the room. However, many of the buildings date from the communist era, which is roughly 1945 to 1989, and often grey ferro-concrete tower blocks, unimaginative, and these boxy shaped buildings are not alluring to the eye, and that's where most people live. Since the revolution 1989, there have been quite a few things built, but they're often office blocks, high-end blocks of flats, again, not gorgeous. So, although this is the city that most foreigners visit, I'm afraid to say Bucharest is the ugliest city in Romania that I've seen. It does at least have a lot of green space. The fact there's so many parks is one of the advantages of this city. They're particularly just north of the centre, where there's a chain of lakes. And the city is very flat, so very suitable for cycling. And there are cycle paths. Unfortunately, the cycle paths don't seem to be respected by motorists who often park across them. And the pavements are often quite high, and there's no way to go up and down on a bike. You just have to go off about 20 centimetres up off the road. So these bikes are to borrow. I say hire, they're free, I'm pretty sure. Just hand in your ID card or passport and you can use them. They're often not in a very good state of repair, but buy your own. What brings me on to driving. So, in the 90s, a lot of Romanians were able to buy cars for the first time, and so love them, they don't get out of them. So the traffic isn't too bad for a city that size. There's obviously the metro, bus and tram, which is a superb network, which goes everywhere, which is dirt cheap, operates long hours, all that. Not that crowded, really. But people often insist on driving even be faster by public transport, because they just can't get over the fact they now have a car. But there's a relatively high rate of death on the roads. Some people purport to believe the car won't move unless they got a phone to their ear, and not everyone wears a seatbelt. So what else can I say? It's a fairly low-cost place to live. Things are roughly a third of the price of what they'd be in Ireland. Let's say a one-bedroom flat to rent might be €350 per month. Incidentally, the currency is leu, which means lion. But they sometimes call it ron because they've had the new leu for about 12 years now. So I would say the symbol is RON. If you're looking on some search engine for exchange rates, RON, that's the Romanian currency, but Romanian leu is it. However, people often quote prices in euros, particularly in relation to property, or salaries often quoted in euros, and sometimes even paid in euros. People sometimes have to go to exchange it to use it in a shop. However, some shops will accept euros, certainly hotels do, taxi drivers occasionally do. So Romania's been in the European Union since 2007 and is due to use the euro currency as its sole legal tender within a few years. There are quite a few gated communities. That's where the wealthier people happen to live. There's this fixation with security, as one finds in most former communist countries. So security guards everywhere in the parks. The tiniest shop will have some guy in his uniform with his boots, with his bat and his cap, even a breastplate and shin guards, thinking he's super soldier because he's working at a mini market. So there are a few things to see. Casa Poporului, which by some reckoning is the second largest building in the world. It was built in the 80s under Ceausescu, this deranged communist tyrant. So it's enormous and it looks reasonably handsome. It's still not even completed inside. You can see many buildings, and that's where Parliament meets now. There are quite a few churches. This is an Orthodox Christian country, so have a look at some of those. There's a cathedral which is on the one hill in the centre, just up from Casa Poporului. There are a few Catholic churches. There are a few Protestant ones, most of which are very new, or things like Mormon ones. There's an Anglican church dating back over a century, which is a red brick one. So English language speakers who are worshipping often would go there, even though they're not Anglican. There's an open-top bus tour of Bucharest. Doesn't operate in the winter though. There are boats to be hired to go on the lakes. There's a children's island in one of the lake with a bridge to it. There's a big wheel in the park to go on. There are plenty of playgrounds. But the parks, watch out for the stray dogs. That's something that's horrific. I've never seen a European country with stray dogs before. And often they're tagged in the ear to show they've been neutered. I'm not sure that's true. So watch out. You'd be afraid to go off the path in the park lest you be bitten. I was bitten a couple of times. So let me see. There's superb public transport, as I pointed out. Parking is a problem because the city wasn't designed for the car. So people just park anywhere, even on the pavement, which is a bit of a pain. You seldom get charged for parking. I do find it a very safe city, even walking around at midnight. Though, okay, there's a lot of fraud in Romania. There's very little violent crime. Schools. If you have children, there are lots of schools to go to. Let me see, the British school is one of the best. The International American School is very good. The International British School is another one. Not so expensive as the British School, still fairly good. There's some terrible ones as well, like the International School of Bucharest, which is secretly run by the Gulen Foundation. There's some Turkish Islamic organization, which has now been outlawed in Turkey for extremism, attempting the coup d'etat. So that one, although it has some good teachers from Romania and abroad, overall it's dreadful. The management has no idea what they're doing and simply put people in charge because they happen to be Turkish, and they're promoting their insidious ideology. Let me see, Mark Twain International School, Mark Twain School again is really all just about money and provides almost no education. It's completely chaotic, just a money spinner for the owners. There are some great ones like Little London, I'd recommend that. Școala Mea is also a terrible one, again run by people who don't know what they're doing, don't care about the children, no fire safety, anything like that. I've had a look there, and again they're just out to exploit the parents and don't give a damn about the pupils. There's a French school which is pretty good, a German one, there's even a Russian one. So you have plenty of good options, but a few dreadful ones, so don't be fooled. Let me see. Internations is a good way to socialise if you go there. People of any nationality can go, and it's aimed at foreigners who speak English, or indeed Romanians who speak English, or indeed foreigners who speak Romanian. And they're trying to make it 50-50. Half the people there are Romanian, half of them are foreign, and just to socialise with no particular theme. An informal party, at least once a week. There are other foreigner meet-up groups as well. So it's increasingly a cosmopolitan city, so people have moved in from neighbouring countries like Romania and Bulgaria. Where else? There are expatriate communities from the Netherlands, France, the United Kingdom, the Irish Republic. There are Nigerians there. About 1% of the population is Chinese, and on and on. If you're a native speaker of English, there's work to be had in International House, for example. In Bell, I don't really recommend Bell Language School. I did a bit of work for them. You can purchase property there, quite affordable. Make sure you don't get defrauded. Just because you have the title deeds, someone could still have copied that, because there was a lot of corruption going on in the land registry and people were sold something which had already been sold. So train is a great way to get around the country. They're slow, they're very cheap, they're very spacious, they're fairly clean. Activities, well, you can go skiing in the winter, going up to Brasov. It's a great place for visiting nearby attractive cities, Bucharest is. Going to the seaside in the summer, obviously, about 3 hours by car to Constanța. There on the Black Sea, can be delightful. So Bucharest has its moments, it's got some things to offer. However, I don't strongly recommend it. It's by no means the most alluring city in the region. Budapest absolutely knocks the socks off it. That's my take on Bucharest.